What's an example of a Kabbalistic ritual or a Kabbalistic practice that the Jews should be participating in? That's different to just rocking up to the synagogue or rapping on a tefillin today.
No. All of that nonsense. Forget all the rituals, synagogues, all of that. It's beyond that. What we're talking about here is an inherent connection that we have to develop between us. We have to feel our responsibility for both that people of Israel and the whole world. That's why, in fact, you don't need to take into account the white supremacists, the leftists, the rightists, the liberals, the ultra, all of that. Don't take that into account even. They don't understand what's going on. It's like puppets on strings in that sense. Everything depends on you. And that's what they're trying to tell you through their hatred. Look at 10 million people in the world, Jews, right? 15 million, let's say. Look what's happening. How the whole world is gradually directing their attention to them, to us. We have to understand that our behavior influences the world, and that's what they essentially are saying. Anti-Semitism is basically saying, you're important. You're not doing something you're supposed to do. You understand?
When you're telling me this, I'm reminded of the story of Job, where Job was being punished, but he wasn't being punished by just Satan on his own, whatever, disconnected from God. It was God who had subcontracted Satan to test Job. Are you saying that Hashem, that God is somehow subcontracting these white nationalists and these anti-Semitic lefties to kind of test us?
John, I see that you are very Jewish, very knowledgeable in also religion, but I'll tell you, it's true. But I see this as a law of nature. It's true that there's biblical stories in the scriptures and all of that, but what I'm looking at this from is how nature works. Nature is an integrated system. It's an interconnected whole system. This is also something that I've learned from my first profession, biocybernetics, which is the operating systems of human nature, starting from the human body and all the way, through all the spheres of the universe. What we have to understand is that there are laws here that are immutable. Human egoism is growing. That's an evolutionary process. It has to happen. On the other hand, this natural system that we're living in is integrated. It's interconnected, and that it forces us to be interdependent as well. Otherwise, we'll ruin the planet. We're not going to... See what's happening right now. If humanity continues down this road, we don't have much time left. What I'm saying in this process is that this group called Jews have a certain function they're responsible for in this natural system that we're all living in. And that's because they emerged from a unity of all nations, all the nationalities that you have in the world by nature, by origin. The Jews are sort of like a concentration of all nations. That's how they emerged, that's how they were naturally created in ancient Babylon. And that's why if they create unity in that sort of model group, that will reverberate across the world, that will ripple throughout the world, and then animosity and hatred and fascism and extremism will subside. Everything will move towards balance. That's why all of this depends on us. And that's why there's hatred towards us that will keep rising and rising if we won't do that. I was talking about this dozens of years ago, decades ago. But you see, what's happening is only that anti-Semitism, unfortunately, sadly, is rising because we're not delivering that correction that needs to happen.